People may want to harm you more if you show them how hurt you are. Even while it doesn't always happen, it's not uncommon for some people to enjoy watching you suffer, or even to help make things worse. Unfortunately, sadism and envy are common behaviors that can seriously impede your personal development in a variety of contexts, including the workplace, your social circle, and even your family. As a result, developing the ability to hide your weaknesses may turn into a strength. Imagine yourself like a tree in the middle of a storm. While the branches and leaves may wobble and the leaves flap, the trunk remains firmly planted in the ground. We're going to teach this picture of silent resilience in this lesson. We'll discuss how you may become even more resilient by demonstrating that you're not readily impacted by internal or external problems, and how every obstacle teaches you to be like the tree and pretend that nothing is wrong. You're not ignoring the storm. Rather, you're making the decision to stand your ground against the wind and rain. You'll discover how to control your own course in a chaotic world by remaining steady, resilient, and composed. We'll talk about the 10 Stoic principles of Epictetus, a famous and illustrious philosopher you've certainly heard of, in this video. In addition, I extend an invitation to self-awareness, wherein power originates not from the crash of thunder but rather from the quiet of light that illuminates the way. Thus, concentrate on the topic rather than the everyday distractions for the following several minutes. Let's go. Principle 1. Listen twice as much as you speak. Ever ponder why we have one mouth but two ears from nature? This is not an error or chance, but rather a deliberate design, according to Epictetus, to prevent us from falling in love with our own voice as much as we ought to with the voices of others. Rather than constantly repeating what we already know, we learn from others and advance in life. Consequently, begin listening to what those around you are saying more now and less to what you have been defending up to this point. We are reminded of the value of learning from others and actively listening by this idea. We frequently lose sight of the chance to broaden our knowledge base by learning from the experiences and viewpoints of others because we are preoccupied with our own thoughts and opinions. When we listen more than we talk, we create space for new ideas, improved understanding, and a strengthening of our bonds with one another. Through this practice, we develop intellectually and personally, becoming wiser and more aware of the world around us. Principle 2. Always assume the worst. Expecting bad things to happen in the future is one of the biggest causes of anxiety and its debilitating repercussions. We worry about things like our kids quitting school, our spouse coming out with an affair and filing for divorce, or our business failing. The issue is that we get afraid of one of these scenarios one day, then another, and so on. Not only does life's journey offer joy and happiness, but it also invariably presents obstacles. We thus experience persistent stress, brought on by various concerns every day. This is when the radical and practical philosophy of Epictetus comes into its own. Is there anything worse? This viewpoint supports the development of coping mechanisms in our soul, enabling us to move forward with resolve. This idea encourages us to develop an attitude of readiness for the obstacles we will encounter in life. We are asked to view the worst-case scenario as a possibility and ponder how we would handle it, rather than living in perpetual fear of the unknown. This method lessens the anxiety brought on by future uncertainty by helping us build resilience and coping mechanisms. In the end, we learn to deal with adversity when it comes and move forward with confidence and resolve by confronting our fears head-on. Principle 3. Be prepared to fail, as it is the only way to progress. We often go to great lengths to avoid appearing foolish, but Epictetus presents an alternative viewpoint. In his view, being regarded as an idiot is among the nicest things that can happen. This is an actual route to advancement on both a personal and professional level. The philosophy of Stoicism reminds us that success is the product of a protracted process of trial and error, rather than an immediate reaction. We can only improve what separates us from excellence via trial and error. This idea exhorts us to accept failure as a necessary component of learning and development. We should realize that making mistakes is inevitable, and in fact a necessary component of progress, rather than being afraid of looking silly. we improve our talents, gain experience, and become resilient via trials and tribulations. When we acknowledge that mistakes can be opportunities for growth, we become more willing to take chances and overcome obstacles. This kind of thinking enables us to relentlessly pursue our objectives and keep improving. Principle 4. Recognize the risks associated with luck. Few people can truly escape the stigma associated with the money we so desperately want. It goes beyond those who materialize out of nowhere and pose as our pals in order to take advantage of our good fortune. People can change with money, although not always in a positive way. Greed can undermine our moral integrity at this very point when we gain possession of this much sought-after resource, which we did not have previously. This concept alerts us to the risks connected to the unbridled pursuit of riches and the amassing of material belongings. It emphasizes that wealth itself has the power to alter our perspective and ideals, on top of the apparent dangers like persons who may approach us for financial gain. When money is handled poorly, it can erode our moral values and pull us away from the things that really count in life. As a result, we are urged to try to strike a healthy balance between pursuing financial success and upholding our moral and ethical principles. Principle 5. Avoid becoming obsessed with one hope. Because diversity is ingrained in human nature, we don't need to focus all of our aspirations on achieving one particular objective. It can be dangerous and even disastrous to put all your eggs in one basket in case something doesn't work out. Epictetus therefore counsels us to follow a variety of goals and objectives. By diversifying our goals, we not only mitigate the risk of disappointment, but also multiply the chances of finding satisfaction and success. Epictetus' teaching reminds us of the importance of having a balanced approach to our dreams and aspirations. By not rigidly clinging to a single hope or goal, we open up space to explore various possibilities and paths. This not only increases the chances of success on multiple fronts, but also helps maintain a more balanced emotional state, as failure in one goal doesn't mean the collapse of all our aspirations. This principle encourages us to be flexible, open to new opportunities, and resilient in the face of adversity. Principle 6. Always keep in mind that death is the inevitable final destination. This thought is not an invitation to pessimism, but a reminder to recognize that death is the end point of all our actions and efforts. With this awareness, we begin to question the real value of dedicating precious years to saving for material goods like a house, which, although valuable, will not accompany us after death. Just as we carry everyday essentials like a phone, cards, and a toothbrush, it would be beneficial to keep with us a small notebook with Stoic principles. With them, we start to see setbacks not as misfortunes, but as integral parts of life. We no longer see existence as an infinite time available, but gain a more realistic perception of our existence, which leads us to use our time more effectively and meaningfully. This Stoic principle invites us to reflect on the impermanence of life and to use this awareness as a guide to live more intentionally and meaningfully. By remembering that death is a common destiny for all, we are encouraged to evaluate what truly matters and dedicate our time and energy to actions and relationships that enrich our lives. This helps us live the present more fully and make choices that reflect our deepest values, rather than getting lost in superficial or material concerns. Principle 7. True wealth lies in a contented spirit. Through his Stoic philosophy, Epictetus offers us a unique view of happiness, expressed in one of his famous quotes: "A wise man is one who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." This reflection transcends mere thought. It is a guide to learn to cease our restlessness for riches we do not yet possess. As we indulge in complaints and laments for what we lack, we waste precious moments of joy that could be spent in gratitude for what we have achieved so far, which is often more than we are conditioned to appreciate. Therefore, a truly wealthy person is one who is in a state of genuine happiness. This principle teaches us to redefine our conception of wealth. Instead of associating it with material possessions and external achievements, Epictetus encourages us to find it in satisfaction and gratitude for the things we already have. This perspective helps us cultivate a sense of contentment and appreciation for the present, regardless of external circumstances. By adopting this mindset, we not only find inner peace, but also develop a more positive and grateful attitude towards life. Principle 8. Adopt humility as an essential part of your life. To truly learn something, it is crucial that a person be willing to reconsider what they think they already know. Through this maxim, Epictetus incites us to cultivate humility, especially in the context of learning. Walking through life exhibiting the pride of our knowledge distances us more and more from true knowledge, which is born from the recognition of our ignorance about what we desire to learn. Thus, we should face each new experience with the curiosity and wonder of a child, who has as much capacity to marvel as a desire to learn. This principle underscores the importance of humility in the learning process. Recognizing that we don't know everything and that there is always something new to learn is key to continual growth. Humility is not just a virtue, but a powerful tool that allows us to keep our minds open and receptive to new ideas, perspectives, and knowledge. By approaching life with the mindset of an eternal learner, we keep alive our capacity to marvel and absorb the world around us richly and profoundly. Principle 9. Consider guilt as a curse. Individuals with limited vision tend to blame others. Ordinary people blame themselves, but the truly wise understand that assigning blame is a futile exercise. Inspired by Epictetus's words, modern therapists have begun to treat guilt as a feeling to be eliminated from our lives. The key to overcoming guilt is not to play its game. The challenge lies in the fact that blaming others or ourselves is an easy escape route, as it exempts us from the responsibility of correcting the mistakes made. Thus, resorting to guilt is a seductive trap. Only those with resolute determination to improve themselves can avoid the guilt trap and, at the same time, take responsibility for their actions. This principle teaches us about the importance of transcending guilt, whether directed towards ourselves or others. Guilt often serves as a barrier, preventing us from learning from our mistakes and moving forward. Instead of fixating on who is to blame, wisdom lies in accepting our mistakes, learning from them, and taking corrective actions. This requires significant emotional maturity and a willingness to grow and develop, rather than remaining stuck in cycles of guilt and self-reproach. Recognizing our flaws without sinking into guilt allows us to move forward in a healthier and more constructive way. Principle 10. Forge connections with successful individuals. It's interesting to observe how quickly we move away from someone who sneezes near us, fearing infection. Yet we often don't exercise the same caution to avoid an even more dangerous contagion, that of negativity and discouragement. Epictetus offered us valuable advice in this regard. We should surround ourselves with people who inspire us to be better, as the company we choose deeply affects our mood and attitude. There are those who drain our energy and deteriorate our day, while others fill us with enthusiasm and joy. Thus, one of the wisest decisions we can make is to form alliances with those who bring us positivity, distancing ourselves from those who have the power to make us lament our own existence. This principle emphasizes the importance of the environment and the company we choose for our lives. Just as we protect ourselves from physical illnesses, it's crucial to guard our mental and emotional health from the negative effects of toxic relationships. By choosing to be around people who motivate us, who share our values, and who encourage us to grow, we are not only improving our quality of life but also empowering ourselves to reach our full potential. It's a powerful reminder that we are, to a large extent, a reflection of the company we keep. This perspective not only brings inner peace but also directs us to invest energy where we can truly make a difference. By internalizing and applying this teaching, we become more resilient and focused, capable of traversing challenging periods with a clear mind and a calm heart. Stoic philosophy, therefore, is not just a set of ideas, but a practical path to a more balanced and fulfilled life. I hope you enjoy the video, and since you made it to the end, please share your thoughts with us in the comments if you are new to the channel. Please subscribe. Stay blessed.